Well, David, just a quick point. With regard to Glenn having suffered potentially knife wounds from 2 or maybe more even separate weapons, had it been you and I that had been killed, heaven forbid, under normal circumstances, the pathologist would have been, number one, it would have been one, but you need 2, one for the defence, one for the prosecution, naturally. Why are the pathologists, in this case, such high-profile pathologists? Can you allude anything on that?
Right, okay. Well, yeah, I mentioned in the book that they are high-profile because Horrocks is one that was the same...
Horrocks.
Coroner. Yeah, he was the same coroner that was actually used in the police case of that Charles de Menezes murder.
Of who, sorry? Of who? I didn't catch that.
Charles de Menezes.
Okay.
The chap that was killed on the Underground in London.
Okay.
Accused of being connected to the 7/7 bombings.
Oh.
Well, it's Horrocks. Horrocks wrote the report up, which was proved to be lies, it was false. And when he was asked why did he write such, vital details that are incorrect, he said it was what the police told me. So he's proven that he's a good coroner, that he will work to whatever instructions.
He's a lackey for the police, he'll write whatever he's told to write.
Yeah, so basically, again, it could be connected or mere coincidence. But the fact of the matter is, because the police had started this cover-up, or perhaps along with the health trust at the hospital, worrying that it could maybe come into quite an expensive legal suit. And once they decided to set that evidence out from the BBC documentary, the 136 evidence, it's sort of, it has to escalate. And so by using people that you can trust, coroners, you can keep control of your evidence, the wording that's used within the reports, and who's pretty good to work with, So it's a bit strange, for instance, even going back to the barristers of the case. Both, the Crown Prosecution Barrister and the prosecution barrister used in this case, one to represent Sabina and the other to be the prosecution on behalf of your brother's death, they both come from the same office.
The same chambers.
The same chambers they share. So, that's basically not recommended in any kind of case, especially if you're co-defendants, because if that is how collusion happens. And again, it might not be deliberate collusion, but files could be easily mixed up when you're in mixed chambers, and you're trying to tell 2 different barristers who work together in the same chambers, don't discuss the same case, they're going to just talk in court.
It's almost unethical, isn't it? I mean, we had a situation with myself, my brother Paul and Gary went to see the Glenn's barrister, if you like, the representation for Glenn, and he categorically told us that absolutely the bundle would be made available, no problem, just apply, pay 60 quid for it or whatever it costs. Yes, it's all yours, it'll take some time to print out, but there's no reason why you can't have it. And then when we approached them for it, David, they flatly refused, firstly, to give it, and secondly, that barrister said that conversation never happened.
Yeah.
Which is, there's 3 people there, including the family liaison officer, was there present when he actually said we could have the bundle.
Yeah. Well, that's why we ended up writing and contacting the CPS, the IPC, MPs, those, in charge of all the different judicial services that are connected to this case. And they all sort of, one seemed to say there's no objective to having the court bundle handed over, but at the end of the day, it was the property, and it was down to the police, in this case Staffordshire Police, who have flatly refused to hand it over.
Right.
The only way is basically they were going to be handed over as if a court order was put placed on them that they had to. But because that's not being put on them, or it's unlikely that would be the case, they're just sitting on this court bundle of evidence.
Well, the bundle would also say, wouldn't it, that she was under Section 136 when she was admitted to hospital, and the hospital had a duty of care at that point, because in order to, correct me if I'm wrong, but in order to be released from 136, you need a psychiatric nurse and 2 GPs to agree that she's fit to be put into police custody. But that was recanted to facilitate the police getting their hands on Sabina very quickly.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it's that's what it's covered up.
Okay.
From the very beginning.
So there's a very good case against the hospital for dereliction of duty of care, isn't there?
Yeah, and the police themselves. Both of them have made a mistake. As I say, yeah, no, they didn't expect that this woman would then be involved in the murder, and by her being there, by her actions on the motorway, everyone, and it does seem on the surface, of course she killed him. It must be her. You understand? It seems to me it couldn't be anyone else but her, because we've seen how crazy she acted. And by that happening, as I say, that led on to them now panicking, realising that they had released this woman now connected to a murder so soon after the hospital, after being arrested under the 136 Health Act. And the court bundle, as you say, the police have since said there is no documentation about this 136. So it's either in the court bundle or it's being removed from the court bundle if they're saying it don't exist. But the hospital, by refusing to hand over their records, I don't think they would have destroyed it, and it would prove that she was admitted under the 136. And if the police hadn't got it, then someone would remove it from the evidence. But the court bundle would just tell you everything. It would even say that when the police called in the IPCC, which was soon after Glenn's death, they called in the IPCC, if they recalled that. And it would have sensitive information that it was at this stage, and it most probably was started at the very beginning, because remember, if I'm saying she was under observation, this would now be in that court bundle, and why it's not wanted to be shown, because it will have to say, well, on the whatever date it was concerned, we know these girls went into the Liverpool police station and reported their children being kidnapped, etc. But she was under observation from so-and-so section of whatever, Scotland Yard, and we was informed to hold back, to lay off, intervening, preventing this operation taking place. So it seems to confirm that the instance when Melissa on the kill services said she thought they had a bomb, police officers arrived, 3 of them arrived, seemed to speak to the girls, the twins. They didn't search them, they didn't ask for ID, they didn't ask for whatever. It's because basically they'd already been informed that these girls are already under observation, don't interfere with them. And so they let them go through. Not knowing how crazy they would react on the motorway, no one could have predicted that. Why they did that is a completely different subject altogether, why they may have reacted the way they did. That's a completely different thing. We just got to concentrate on the facts and the evidence of the murder here. And so then she's in hospital, released after 5 hours, set within 72 hours, she's now connected to a man's murder. But then it's that murder we then have to closely look into, and the more we look into it, it seems to fit that Glenn was killed by third parties, someone else. Isn't it
a statistical fact, David, that most people are killed by people, or murdered or killed by people they know?
Oh, they know, yeah, that's the high proportion, that's fact, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And as we were saying, we know sort of like, up in Fenton, there's a drug head problem in the bloody world, in the country, but some towns are worse than others, and Fenton's got a little close-knit druggies up there, and they've got a serious addiction, they've got rumours somehow, and it could only come basically from Peter Malloy, because he was the only one there to ever know that she had a big bundle of cash on her. We still don't know for sure what else was in that bag that may have been worth of value that they was holding close to their chest. And we do know is...
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to kill it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, so what it is that... so what we do know is since then, what really seems to just sort of prove someone else was there, because her possessions were stolen.
Yeah.
And she went into Glenn's house with this bag full of contents, computer, phones, etc. That bag should have still been in the house then, when the police came soon after Glenn's murder. It should have still been there. She was not seen fleeing the house on CCTV camera with a bag. She was reportedly seen with just clutching a hammer. That means, how the hell did that bag of her possessions get across the mud path and strung along the mud path? The kind of behaviour of someone who has just stolen that bag, run off to a place to where they could then spill it everywhere, where whatever value would reveal itself, they grabbed that and run off and didn't care about the other possessions.
Well, she wouldn't herself known about the whereabouts of the park, because I know Fenton pretty well, and you've got to know how to get to that park. You've got to know who frequents that park is often druggies and youngsters, courting couples, if you like. You know, ultimately, I think that if you're going to rifle a bag in excitement and try and grab it and run, that's one place you can do that in pretty much good privacy. So somebody must know that park's a private park, really.
Yeah, and it's yards. It's yards from Glenn's home. It's even closer to Peter Malloy's home.
Yeah.
And as I say, they could have avoided by coming onto CCTV if it's true that the police did have this evidence. Because remember, what we see on the BBC documentary is a reenactment of that alleged CCTV footage. Local people would know not to go to the right, so they would have come to the house from the opposite direction, knocked on the door, gained entry that way, and if they had grabbed a bag of possessions after having a kind of confrontation within the house, because Glenn may, as I said, well have intervened and said, look, what are you doing? You can't touch her possessions, leave her alone. And one thing, a fight may have come about, they've killed Glenn, whoever is connected to this bag that went missing. They must have been come out of the house, turned left, run up 2 turnings, done another left, turned left, and they're on the opposite, behind Glenn's home, and not far from the path where the bag was then discovered, this with all the contents, you know, spewed out. So, you know, that in itself is completely suspicious. How did her goods get on that pathway? Why did they get there? Because she was clearly robbed. And it's in that instance that if the robbery took place in Glenn's front room, come kitchen, then whoever robbed it, he's not stood there and allowed it to happen. She's not stood there to allow it to happen. But then you imagine she's in that situation. She's just now seen whoever, 1 or 2 men or maybe more, enter her property, try to rob her contents. Glenn may have intervened. 2 or more have grabbed him. 1 has just stabbed him. She's witnessing this, saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to be next." Would you hang about? Of course you wouldn't.
No.
As she slipped the door, if there's an hammer there, you pick the hammer up to the minimum to defend yourself, and you'd be out the door like lightning.
Well, if she clubbed him around the head a few times with a mallet or a hammer, she would have run off. You know, why would she be carrying a hammer if it wasn't a self-defense thing? Because she didn't use it as an attack weapon if she did kill him.
No, exactly.
You can kill somebody with a hammer equally well, can't you?
If you get them, that unknown. So that was never used as a weapon, but apparently she was seen fleeing with it. But the fact of the matter is, then again, seriously, the pathologists, going back to them, their reports both verify 2 weapons were used. So if this went to court, that would have been raised straight away. But there's 2 weapons used.
How did they find out? I mean, excuse my ignorance, but I mean, I know, but from my job, I know all about pathology and that. But from a criminal point, you mentioned this, and you were the only one who really picked it up, to be honest with you, and highlighted it, because the rest of the family hadn't even thought this, but we just assumed quite rightly by the disinformation at that time it was an open and shut case. Sabina did it. That's the impression we got. And you were the one that flagged it up that there were 2 weapons by your investigations and previous knowledge. But what is the how did you come to that conclusion there was 2 weapons before the pathologist even thought or even mentioned it? You already knew the judging by the size and depth. How did you go about that?
What, do you mean the actual experiments I did?
Yeah, you did. You did an experiment and you drew some graphs.
I got a lump of meat, didn't I? A big lump of meat.
Right.
And I got the dimensions of the wounds that were on Glenn's body, and you could see that 2 of the wounds were deeper, but narrow, not as wide, so much more narrow than the other knife wounds that actually were wider but not as deep.
Okay.
And it clearly shows that there's 2 weapons that can only, or 2, one knife and something else, which seems to be like a smaller knife, like a penknife, was used as well. And it's because of them, it's the difference in the sizes, which is covered in the book, precisely from the pathologist's report. The pathologist could see, well, that knife could not mean that mark, and vice versa. So therefore, 2 weapons were used. And as I say, if it went to court, if it went to the jury, then this would have been brought up, and this would have raised the questions of others being there. It would have then raised the question of, well, how did her contents get stolen from Glenn's house and end up on a mud parkway? It would have opened up the whole scenario that it wasn't just her and Glenn in that house that we're led to believe it was. It would open the scenario there was others there in that room, which I strongly believe. Others arrived at Glenn's home, was in the house with them, and I think the motive was money. Motive to get hold of whatever money she had on her, whether it's drugs or money, but we know she had, and maybe the laptop and the phones that she had. They tried to rob her of their possessions, but mainly the money, I suppose.
Yeah.
And they put, you're not going to hand over your goods that easily. I've got Sabina, we've seen her, she could handle herself as well, and so can Glenn. And they mostly put up a slight resistance. And, stop it, you can't do that. And they realised, well, look, we're not going to be able to rob this easily, so that's why there could have even been 3 or 4 blokes may have turned up to make sure that there was easily going to be able to go in the house, sort Glenn out, sort her out, and snatch the bag that what happened and get away with it. Maybe they didn't also pre-plan that Sabina would react more resistant and Glenn would stand up as well and say, no, you're not doing it. Maybe they thought it would have been an easier process.
Yeah.
But then again, they went in and said, look, this could get nasty. We're going to go into Glenn's house and we're going to rob this girl's money. But it could go nasty, boys. So they're prepared, and so they've gone there prepared. They're knifed up, they've got their knives, or they've used whatever weapons will come about. And, this has happened time and time again all over the country. People are murdered in these kind of scenarios. But normally, we find out the truth. It normally comes to light. That's exactly what happened.
Well, we found it rather strange, David, during the court case. Even before the court case started, me and my brothers were there. And the only one who joined us for a coffee before the case was the family liaison officer. And he was a bit shifty, very, I don't know, just a little bit distant. And over on the other side were a group of high-ranking police officers, etc., almost in a collusion in the corner, whispering very much. And we got the impression, even before the court case started, that we wanted as a family this to go to trial. It would seem to be the only thing to do, and the reasonable thing to do under the circumstance and the high profile, because there were so many people culpable of all this leading up to a death of a man, regardless of it was my brother or not. And it was very much them and us, and that seems to be quite unique in a lot of cases, because you would have thought that the police would have been, as a group, very supportive, helpful, but on this occasion they did nothing, and I mean nothing, to allay or answer any questions directly and truthfully.
Exactly, because in this instance it was not beneficial to the police to actually get the truth out as such, or to prosecute Sabina in the way that they did. And people have argued, or would argue, if they would say, why would she plead guilty after something if she's not done it? And we've mentioned this earlier. She maintained her innocence right until the 11th hour, the day before the court. She maintained her innocence, but she then made a plea bargain and took the manslaughter charge, which means she'd only get 5 years. Now, going back to what was the bargaining chip? Well, if you was under observation, which I'm saying she was, and that's what led to the police cover-up, because it would have revealed that these girls were already under police observation. But it would reveal that. Sorry, I'm forgetting myself again here, because it's important what I'm saying. Could you help me, John? What was I just saying? Yeah,
we were just discussing why the police didn't want it to go to jury trial and what their motivation for that thought was.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So the fact is that that's it. But it's not in their interest for it to come to court and for the truth to come out, because it would have revealed straight away the jury was questioned. Why was she released only 5 hours after what she had done and her sister on the motorway? Particularly, even if she wasn't injured, that was her twin sister who was in intensive care. No one knew at that stage whether she had lived or died. We would have been somewhat sympathetic. You would have said, look, that's her sister. You better let her stay with her sister and comfort her and let them keep them together so they're fine. This was long before anyone diagnosed as fully a girl or anything. They were just two girls who'd done this crazy action.
Well, that folie à deux hasn't been used in a legal case for 85 years. They had to trawl the history books to find that coconut.
Yeah, it's because they never entertained it, but it's there if they needed it, and they've used it now and again, and in this case they tried it again. No, because like you or me, we could go, make sure, if you're going to kill someone, make sure you go a bit loopy and a bit crazy about it, and then get your prosecution to plead for your door.
David, we have 4 minutes left on this particular video. You can do some more if you like, but one question I have is that even before this incident happened with the film crew turning up, because it happened to be coincidental that they happened to be on the M6 at the right time for the films, for the TV series, they had already, prior to them being stopped and filmed, they'd already been spotted on CCTV causing chaos on the motorway further north or south. But if it had been you and me arrested like that, we would have been locked in the back of a police car. Why were those two standing there having a cigarette, chatting away like nothing happened, given access to cars on the motorway, given their history? You understand me? They've been playing around for some time on the motorway, and it seems like they're waiting for the film crew to arrive.
Well, you could say, yeah. Well, yes. Well, in fact, that's what makes it suspicious. And you are right in that sense, because the local staff have made many videos with Mental and done previous programmes. So they knew the film crew was on the road. They were there making this programme. And that this particular thing that's now unfolding within itself is going to make a great film. So I reckon they've said, look, hold up, can you... Because it was definitely edited. But you have to realise as well, people say different cameras are used. There are actually 3 cameras within the police vehicle itself. 3. So they've got different angles of footage. But they knew that their crew was in the area, and so to maybe delay it stupidly like they did, and to let them stand on the hard shoulder like they did, is unusual. And again, maybe stupidity on their behalf.
Well, it's dereliction of care again, isn't it, David?
That's what it is. It's just showing you the stupidity the police have handled the case from the beginning. But it's not, none of them police, arresting officers, initial ones, know anything about the police observation taking place outside their arena. So there's people are kept in the dark, even within the forces themselves, the police forces. Certain things wouldn't have come to light until days, weeks and months after this case had happened, and once the murder started being looked into, that certain people within the force would have been brought in and would have been privy to the secret information, which is, look, these girls are under observation from the drugs police and other agencies. We didn't know this at the time, but when the girls were done this crazy action, they were taken to hospital, and someone came into the hospital and said, look, these girls are under observation. If that girl is fit enough to get up and leave, will you please let her out, because she's still under robber, not knowing what went mad, and that in the end would end up getting murdered.
David, we're going to leave it there now because we have a minute left. Yeah. I suppose we have to conclude this in one more final video, but we'll call it a day on this one, and that'll buy you another 30 minutes to put the whole thing to bed. How are you for that?
Okay. We'll speak again soon, yeah?
Okay, David, see you in a while.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah, is that off there, John? You switched that off, yeah?